Directive Principles of State Policy, Clause 35, Section 7, indicates that any political party that comes into power, as practicable as possible, should continue what the other party has left off. Do we see that in our politics today? Do we see it happening? And yes, he rightly said, Alidu rightly said, that whatever political party comes into power, what the other political party left, the one that comes into power, takes over. For me, it is a question of how your political ideology and your political beliefs helps you solve that problem. The NPP, they tout themselves as a catalyst party, don't they? They tout themselves as a free market party.
A liberal democrat.
So you can't be liberal democrat. So they would use
to say that, and that he was rather referring to the energy sector levies, not the tariffs.
Well, I heard and I played the audio just before we started. And what I heard, I didn't hear him talk about PURC. I heard him talk about the utility companies. Why are the utility companies at this point bringing these massive increases? And couldn't they have spread it over a certain duration? Why is it in an election year they are bringing all this? For me, he was trying to insinuate that it does not benefit the NDC for them to be looking at such tariffs at this point in time when we are going to elections. That is what I understood by it. But, you know, I believe that if you believe in something, stand by it. Stand by it, because there is a rebuttal on Ghana Web that he didn't say what he said.
Yeah.
But the audio tells you that he said what he said, although he did not mention PURC. I did not hear him mention PURC, but the utility companies. But the question is, Bright, the question is, the way utilities are being run, the cost of utilities is increasing every day. Ghanaians have to get to a point with government. How do we handle the increases? Because power is development. In the world today, power is development. Power is expensive. The old forms, the way we generated power, seems not to be benefiting us. So we need to use other forms which are expensive. We need to be able to pay for that. And to be able to pay for that, you need to get your economy in a certain position that the people can afford to pay for it. What's employment like in this country today? How many of us are employed? How is it that you cannot collect quite a number of monies from generating electricity? Why is that so? Why is it that we have left the maintenance of most of our electricity equipment to rot till now? You can look at some of the water, the pipes underground have been in since 1939. Why hasn't there been a continuous maintenance culture in being able to do this? Because if you have a continuous maintenance culture, what happens? Your cost reduces. But if you leave it too late, the money that you need to be able to repair these things is huge. And if the country doesn't have it, what happens? It's a challenge.
Great. Thanks for your submission. Let me go to Honorable Obiamwa, and let's start from this government agreeing to review the tariff. Perhaps organized labor has scored some points there for Ghanaian workers and the Ghanaian public.
Well, if you tie in the two, that is the SPIO statement and the reaction of the government to labor and the demonstration, you see that this is a government which is confused, very confused and desperate, in the sense that I speak to some senior members of the party in and outside Parliament. Even one came for a program midweek, some time back, when the taxes came, and he said that he doesn't even believe in high taxes, and not even an election year. So somebody even made that comment before Speaker Gabra made that comment. If you listen to Speaker Gabra very well, he's saying that in election year, at the beginning of the year, why do you impose such tariffs on persons, and then are they out to sabotage government, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, as I said, if you listen to them, they don't seem to know exactly what they want to do. One, there's no coordination. Two, there's so much disorganization. So they are just confused. Why do I say that? Now, people are talking only about tariffs. there are 4 different categories of increases that we have and we are expecting. Taxes, increase in taxes.
Right.
This was passed way back, and then it was supposed to take effect on the first day of January 2016. So everybody in government knew it was coming. So it's not that there's people who want to sabotage the government who are smuggling it in. The finance minister brought the bill to parliament. It was passed in parliament, and they were supposed to increase certain aspects of tax by the beginning of the year. Now, that's only one. Then you go to the second one, utility tariffs. We were all expecting it. The companies had made their case to PURC. PURC purported to have consulted wide range of people, and even Labour has a rep on the PURC. And then the utility companies are saying that what they ask for is not what even PURC gave to them. PURC came out to say that we have agreed on 59 here, 69 here, so let's move on. It's not as if we were not expecting that come January, this will kick in. Then, days before Christmas, the finance minister rushed to parliament with the energy sector levy bill. And by the end of 24th or 23rd when we were rising, that bill had been passed. It went to the president for presidential assent, gazetted on 30th December, knowing that come 1st January, it will kick in. So it's not anything strange. The government themselves, they are pushing this. So why do they come out to blame anybody that this is sabotage and election year? And I can also add that by the end of February, fees and charges will also kick in. Because it's lying in parliament, when it goes to the 21 sitting days, it will also become part of it. And certain institutions, Lands Commission, EPA, Harbour, DVLA, some of these institutions will also have their fees and charges increased.
But you're not saying these are not good, because we need to fix the economy. You know that.
We will come to that aspect of whether they are good or not. What I'm dwelling on is the fact that the government itself pushed these things through. So the government should not create the impression that it's some institution which wants to sabotage the government, which is trying to do this in election year.
Anyway, that's not the government official position, though.
No, not but that's why I said that Spiogado has been sitting in cabinet. Does he don't know all these things? Is he not coming to tell us that? And then he comes back to retract it and say that, he was totally talking about utilities. What Ghanaians are complaining about, it's not only about tariffs. Ghanaians are also complaining about fuel increases, which have come about because of energy sector levy, passed just before we went for Christmas, and which kicked in just on the new year. So why does it come in that it's utility companies who are trying to sabotage? That's what I want to say, that government itself, they're able to push these things, and they know the implications. Now, they have seen the reaction of Ghanaians. Labour has gone ahead to complain, and they are telling us that even for the energy sector levies, they can't do anything about it. They are only saying that they have managed to convince PRC to bring some of the figures down. But even these figures are debatable, because we heard people from ECG City already say that in some cases it will be more than 100%. I heard on...
You mean the 42% is debatable?
Initially they told us 59%, 69%. Now people will go and buy credit, and within 2 days it's finished. Prepaid, it was running more than the same boat. And when they came to explain that, the minimum is the 59, I can hit maximum even beyond 100%. They were telling all of us that. For PURC to even come back to say that we approve only that figure, don't add any figure to it. You understand? They came back to tell us that. So I'm saying that, in the first place, I don't think any Ghanaian will feel that certain things are justified. There's no way any Ghanaian will feel that certain things are justified. You applied to Ghanaians that you want to run Ghana. And Ghanaians gave you the mandate. And before you came, you made all sorts of promises to Ghanaians that you run Ghana in a better way than those who have run Ghana before. And then you even said that you don't believe in more taxes. You reduce price of fuel drastically. You promised Ghanaians all these things, and Ghanaians felt that then they could ask you to run the government. So you don't come and tell me now that these things are necessary, otherwise we can't make it. How have you managed the economy to the extent that you have to push this thing through on the first day of the year, where you yourself claim that it's election year? Those are the issues. If you look at the energy sector levy, I brought my copy here. It is huge. See, let me just refer you to it so that we will put it in the context. For the Energy Sector Levies Act 2015, Act 899, we are talking about Energy Debt Recovery Levy, Road Fund Levy, Energy Fund Levy, Price Stabilization and Recovery Levy, Public Lighting Levy, National Electrification Scheme Levy. You have introduced all these levies. And even when you were introducing these levies, you told the whole world, including members of parliament, that if you combine, the increase will only be marginal. Only for, I'll come back to it, only for the institution, the MPA, only for MPA to come out with the figures, and we are hitting 40%, 50%. Even ASEP, Energy Policy Group, think tank, ASEP said if they calculate it, some are even hitting 60%. Now, so you push in all this, and then you come create the impression that we are not part of it. Some people who want you to suffer. Some people who are not sensitive. Some people who want to sabotage us. That is not true.
But I think the government said it wants to be open. It wants to fix the challenges with the energy sector. And so these levies are supposed to help us fix that problem once and for all.
Challenges like what?
And so that's why perhaps government is saying that despite the fact that it's an election year, let us all bear and pay these levies and help fix the doom.
Is government justifying it, or is government running away from it? That is the issue. Is government justifying
government
it?
Has not run away from this.
Government is justifying it.
Government has not run away from it. So these levies will have to be paid for me to be able to.
So that you increase levy so that you have money for traffic lights. That's what.
Because in the past election years, government have sat back on these things only to offload them after the elections, and then
are you sure that come 2017, touch wood, if NDC continues to be in government, they will not increase these things? How sure are you? Or how sure said any Ghanaian that even if this election year you are doing this, then come 2017, you kill us. You kill us in 2017.
Okay, for me, let me go to
you have run the country in such a bad manner that you have run to IMF. And when you were going, you were telling us that it's a homegrown policy. You just want a certain endorsement from IMF. And now they are reaching to you. Because if they had their own way, they will not push these things in their so-called election year.
The government is not being open?
Yes, government is not being open. They are
just trying to fix.
They are being pushed by IMF. IMF wants to look at their figures before they release any money for them. And this is the kind of thing that they are doing. And that there's so much confusion in their camp that all of them are attacking the finance minister. That why did he bring this at this time? So why doesn't he know that it will even affect our electoral fortunes? So if they had their own way, you saw what came out as the new reshuffle. Somebody said the reshuffle the whole system and threw out the finance minister because they knew he was causing them so much headache.
That was not from the government.
I said somebody, I didn't say government, somebody, but it's from them. It's from them that they thought that if they don't fix these things, Ghanaians are justified in being angry about how they are running the system. So don't put this on us and say that we need money to finance the economy. Who doesn't need money to finance the economy? But how do you go about it? If you come and tell me you don't believe in taxes, and then you impose huge taxes. Now, as we speak, they are even seeking to suspend some of them when they haven't come to parliament. And yesterday became an issue on the floor of the house. Now you've passed a circular, GRA has passed a circular saying that they are suspending the 1%. When you haven't come to parliament after you have passed an act. Is that how you run the country? So these are the issues. As for why they claim they have money to negotiate with Labour, I don't see any significance in that. They banned 0 to 300, those who consume 0 to 300. How about those running in that package? That's what I'm saying, that they don't even know what they are about.
All right, Honorable Obi, I'm grateful for your submission. Let me go to Lawyer Pong.
Yes, thank you very much. And I will start from the low point. I think that communication persons in the ministries who are paid with my tax should just not take us for granted. They should credit us with a modicum of discernment and wisdom. It is becoming too many, and the growing evidence is worrying that when ministers speak, their communication directors later on come and tell us that they were the only one who understood the minister and that the rest of us misconstrued what the minister said. They should credit us. It happened. Minister Difa resigned and is the communication director. Kwabena Donko resigns as the communication director. A minister says this, and then communication director will come and tell all Ghanaians that we all misconstrued him. Why didn't Mr. Spiogabra himself issue this particular disclaimer? Why didn't he do it himself? Why would they always hide behind the poor communication directors or PROs to come and deny what they have told Ghanaians in court? We know Mr. Spiogabra, this is very little for him. What he has said now, you remember the piecing in and piecing out issue, the Team B and so, what can't he say? I'm very sure that he did not even endorse this particular PRO goof or gimmick that this guy is engaging in. We pay such people just to engage in propaganda for their ministers. Is he more intelligent than his own boss, Mr. Spiogabra? So they should just credit us with some wisdom. We understand the English he spoke. That's on the low side.
Let's go to the high side.
Now, the Honorable referred to this energy sector levies. It is so disheartening. And my position on it is clear. I extend the blame from government to parliament. And that one, I don't reserve my comment on that. And I'll come to that. What is contained in this are already contained in the NPA Act and the regulation, which is the parent law for the determination of how much we pay for fuel. Petroleum. This is not energy sector levy. This is a petroleum pricing levy. This act. It is deceitful. It is deceitful.
Clarify.
So now,
clarify.
Look, all these, those who have the act can just check. All these, they are already contained in the NPA regulation. And the act says that there should be a basket at any point in time. What goes into that basket, which determines how much we will pay if it's 16 Ghana cedis. They are all contained in that law. We are already paying. Now you pass an energy sector levy act, and all it is doing is to increase the price of petroleum. After we have paid, this is tax on tax. Double taxation. The experts should tell us whether this is correct, this is right. This is double taxation. We already pay for all this. Street lighting, when you get your bill, don't you see it? You've been paying already. They are all in the road fund levy. Is there? Energy fund levy.
So,
price stabilization is still in the act.
So
we have already paid for it.
To the levies.
Not adding to it, duplicating it, and for us to paying twice for one item.
Because the road fund, for instance, we're paying X now, we are being asked to pay Y.
So why don't they rather amend the NPA regulation and let's see whether all these things are already not there. So if you want us to pay 40% for road fund, amend that regulation so I will know that already I'm paying 40, you are adding 40 to it to make it 80. That is what we are doing. We are already, let's say you pay 40 there under the NPA Act and the pricing regulation, and then you come and pay another 40 here. You are doubling it, and that is what they are doing to us. Nobody is against taxes. That's what we survive on. But don't tax us as if you are a government that is separate and independent of the people, and you tax us just for the sake of it. No, let anybody look at this, whether it is not a crafty way to double tax us on all these items. I'm fine with it. If you think that I should pay 70% tax on the fuel I buy, amend the parent law.
The original act, all right.
But don't use a deceitful, what I consider with all due respect to be a deceitful mechanism, all right, to double tax me. It is not fair. And also, as I'm saying, yes, as for the executive, the people of Ghana are aware that they are rapacious. They will always want to spread their tentacles to get as much as possible from the people so they can entrench themselves. It's basic. That is why there are a lot of things they cannot do effectively without endorsement by parliament. If the president alone can impose tax, why will he come to parliament? The people of Ghana say no. When it comes to tax, the old adage, no taxation without representation, has been given a constitutional backing. So you go to parliament, they come to parliament, and this same old falsehood again, this is our government. Who said you are part of that government? That is President Mohammed's government. It is not a political party that is entrusted with my money. It is the president who is independent of you. So you get members of the committee vigorously pushing for the endorsement of the proposal brought by the president as if they are part of the government. You understand? That is our problem. And sometimes it's so disheartening that even the parliamentarian who should be independent is more vigorous in his support of a proposal by government when a cabinet minister like Spio is even aggrieved. It's even aggrieved. You get the honorables in those committees vigorously supporting, and I will ignore that preposterous disclaimer also by he's even acting whatever director. So I don't think that is even a position, a recognized state position, acting director in a ministry, director of communication. That is not recognized. If he's a PRO, you should say so. If he's a special assistant, which I hear they say they have abolished, he should say so. But he should not. So I will go for pure statement. But I don't care whether it's election year or not. We should not shrink because elections are coming. Number two, with the Minister of Labour, once again, I don't think he has even the locus to negotiate with Labour. This is a function of PURC. If you are bold enough to support or endorse, and the Labour, are they not on PURC? They have their representative there. There's somebody also representing you and I, the consumers. You don't go and sit there and either acquiesce in or support a matter, and then you come out to ask me to disagree with you. So now the Labour minister himself, you see, these are some of the things they do. You don't have the power to vary what PURC have done by law.
Exactly. So that's why after the negotiation, PURC was asked to sit down with Labour to look at the figures.
Was asked to sit down with them what? They have determined that this is what we should pay. And that they are the regulatory, statutorily established regulatory institution with our representatives on it. Why are they going to vary what my representative has said? If it will cost people politically, let it cost them politically. But if it's the right thing, let them do it. You understand? So many of these interferences, and for me, if the moment we decide not to comply with laws, whether they are harsh or not, that will be the beginning of our downfall. If we think the act is obnoxious or whatever, let it go back to Parliament. Let's amend it. You understand? Then the increase in the levy again. I have seen a parliamentary record where they understood the presenter, that the minister or his representative, to say that the increase would not be more than, I think, 5% or so. As far as I'm concerned, the levy that I can legally be asked to pay in terms of this petroleum levy, the entirety of it, I'm saying, is even unlawful and illegal, is the 5%. Whatever excess is an illegal tax that we are being asked to pay. And so they should tell us, one, did they deceive Parliament? And why did Parliament allow itself to be deceived? You have a duty to be diligent and conscientious in your analysis of every policy or bill that is brought before you. Otherwise, why should it even come before you? The executive must as well pass the law, but you are representatives. And I find it in a difficult situation for some parliamentarians, and that's why I'm saying that if Parliament really wants to believe that they are independent, one, they should do as is done in the court, the Supreme Court. If there is a matter, write it down and tell us, this is my dissenting opinion.
All right.
I, Yaopon, voted against this, and let the state publish these things for us to see who has been taking decisions and in what manner. Yes, and for this kind of secret balloting.
It's not even secret. All those people say,
depending on the hearing aid of the one who is supposed to determine. These are matters that are peculiar to some other countries also who are even moving away. Recently, the UK, when they wanted to support Syria, the opposition, they said, vote according to your conscience for once we will not apply the whip.
Yes.
And we are now saying that we understand this whip system
More than them.
More than them.
Okay.
No.
All right.
So please, Parliament, I'm going to really
add to
ask
that
them.
elsewhere, they have your voting record.
All right.
Yes,
Did you
and publish
support?
it.
Yes. Did you support high taxes?
or
Did you
not?
support this? But here, those in favor say aye.
Honorable Ali to the chance to react to a few things. One which is the double taxation that Lawyer Pong was
Right, before
talking
he
about.
comes in, can I just
Right,
say something
right,
so
I
that he
think
can
that,
answer
uh,
all
Okay, all right.
Right,
So,
right,
Honorable
right,
Ali,
no.
you just relax. Let me get Ms. Dantua to react so that you can then put all together, and then if you have the answers, let's
in
go.
everything we do, we have to be very careful and look into the future. At the present moment, where are petrol prices? Where prices for crude? They are very, very low. Very, very low. We've added a levy to the already low prices. If oil starts jumping up, and let's say it gets to $60 a barrel, obviously, refined petroleum products would also jump up, plus the 10%. Would we be able to afford petrol in this country? Would we be able to do it? It will jump through the roof because we have added extra levies to it. So we have to be very careful when we are doing these things. I believe that we have to be flexible. In times where the oil price is this low, let's give Ghanaians the benefit to also enjoy it a bit. Because definitely oil prices are going to rise. It started rising, $35 from what, 20 something, it's going up to 35. It's going to rise. Oil prices don't stay as low as this. Yes, for a certain duration, but it will definitely rise. The second thing I want to also come on to is the fact that this system of governance that we run, is it helping us?
What system are you referring to?
The executive system. My honorable lawyer was indicated all these communicators. Is it the right system for us? I think we should go to the Westminster system. Why do I say that? When you look at the Westminster system, you get the Prime Minister standing in Parliament answering questions. You get the Minister standing in Parliament answering questions. And so, Ghanaians will have the opportunity to hear from the horse's own mouth. Prime Minister has said this, why did you say it?
Well, he was a member of
Yes,
Parliament first
exactly,
before he became Prime
exactly.
Minister.
So you'll be able
leader
to,
of the
and
party,
all
so-
these communicators who are around saying whatever they want to say, forget. We cancel that because taxpayers' money is paying all these people. He's a communicator. Taxpayers' money is paying them. Well, maybe he's a private person.
He's not being paid.
Okay, he's not being paid. Okay, fine.
But he used to
Fine.
be-
You don't say you're a member of
Yes,
government.
but
He used
those
to be at the office of the president.
But those in government,
Yes.
those in
He
government,
used to be at the office of the
those
president.
in government.
He used
And there are so many communicators. So many communicators. I don't understand why, if for nothing at all, it's the deputy minister who should speak, not the communicator. What is real the communicator's power? Is the communicator elected? Is he elected?
No.
And I don't understand why sometimes the ministers hide behind these things. Why do they hide behind it? Your obligation is to the Ghanaian. The president has seen something in you. That's why he's put you there. And your service is to the Ghanaian. I believe that if you believe in something, stand tall and believe in it. If you feel that government is doing something, I'll give a typical example. My own father, when he used to be, when Jerry Rawlings made him local government minister, say he was sitting in cabinet once, JJ came, put a pistol on the table, and was arguing with one of the ministers. He just got up and slapped that minister. My father sat there and said, am I going to sit down for
This
this
one is
gentleman,
privileged information.
for this gentleman
He was
who,
very sure of it.
yeah,
That's
for
why
this
he said it.
gentleman
That's what
who-
your father told.
Yes, for this gentleman who can be my son, should I sit down for him to come and do it? He packed his bag and baggage and left.
What you know?
Packed his bag and baggage and left. I believe that if you believe in something so strongly, say it, because the people are the final judges. And I don't believe that a political party should hold it against you for speaking your view. You're an individual, isn't it? Yes, you have to find a way of joining what the political party is saying. But if you feel that it is not going to benefit the Ghanaian, the reason why you are there, say it. Say it in such a way that it's not insulting, but say it in such a way that Ghanaians would understand why you stand against it.
Stay in government and criticize government.
Why not? Why not? If it is not if it is not going to help the person you're serving, if you have a maid or you have a houseboy in the house and he's doing things that aren't serving you, would you not highlight it? Or if you're treating your houseboy or maid in a certain way, does the houseboy or maid, don't they have the right to say, oh, master, this thing you are doing, I don't like it? He's an individual. He's a human being like you. It's only through privilege and advantage that you are where you are. It's only through privilege and advantage that we are sitting here and others aren't. And so, if you have that privilege and advantage, do the right thing, irrespective of whether you believe in what you're doing in your party is right or wrong. Do the right thing.
Honorable, quickly.
Well, I think that listening to the lawyer Opon, I think that first of all, we deny vehemently the accusation of deceit that he seems to hang on our neck, that we are deceiving the people of this country. Government. We deny vehemently that. And two, the issue, the accusation of also double taxation. You see, as government, we have the duty and the responsibility whenever we want to actually take a certain actions to go to the representative of the people. Within the House of the Representative of the people, we have individuals representing our interest. And I do not want to believe that lawyer Opon want us to believe that those individuals do not have what it takes to be able to do an assessment of what government presented to them. To sit here to create an impression that indeed government deceits the people using the House of the Representative is quite untenable. I don't agree with that position. Lawyer Honorable Obiamo is a member of Parliament. He's in charge of the subsidiary legislation. He understands it. That is why he has been given that role to play. And I do not think that the position advocated by lawyer Opon, if we should allow it to stand, certainly is an indictment on his capacity. No, I don't understand this.
No, it's because he's saying that you are a member of Parliament elected by the people. To defend their interest in Parliament. You have a situation where an individual is accusing government of deceit
through the House of
Representatives. Now, the question I would want to find out is, when this bill was presented to the House, did you see it?
Have you listened to?
No, but because his accusation, listen, his accusation is an indictment on individuals who are representing our interests in Parliament. It is.
It's not an individual.
I'm going to return to you.
No, it is. It is. And you have no.
We have to say you have your way.
No, but at least let the people. What is your way? What is your way?
My government right or wrong?
No, what is your way? Let the people who represent you to also understand your way. And you do that at the House of Representatives.
We say no.
You do that.
We say no.
My point is that people of this country are not double taxed. And indeed, Obiamo has given the act to him. He looked at the back to draw his attention to certain repeals of certain aspects that he based his argument on. So that argument he advanced earlier on cannot stand as we speak now. So my point is that we denied vehemently the position and the accusation of deceit to the people of this country. This government hasn't deceived any citizens of this country. We represented our bill, our consent to the House of the Representative, and indeed, Obiamio, you see, we are managing a country. The state institutions are struggling. And you have a policy of government is saying that, look, it's important that there are certain institutions of state, when managed very well, can stand on their own. So it's important that if they have problems, we find a way of resolving those problems so that at least we give them the capacity to be able to stand on their own, so that other institutions that need help, we can focus our attention there. Don't you think this is a reasonable position that citizens of this country should support?
So you are directly your question directly at
You have been in government before. You have been in government before. That's why I'm directing.
Question
when this
was to whether
when
that committee saw the levy and the committee and members of Parliament were deceived.
When the committee brought their report to the floor, key members of the committee on our side, including those who were not even members of the committee, said, no, we need more time to investigate some of the claims that the ministry has made. we need more time to address these issues because they are fundamental issues. If you listen to audio of Katie Hammond, Akoto say, Ajamenu, they raised critical issues and said this thing should be suspended whilst we do all the investigations.
And you were not allowed that.
We were not allowed. And they said, we just put it to vote.
But you were not allowed by the processes of the House, or you were not allowed?
Certainly. The Speaker said, let's put it to vote. All those in favor say aye. And then some of them, they will scream. They will not even just whisper, scream for 1 minute. And then they will say, oh, the ayes have it. And that's the end of it. If you don't want to go to court, then go and challenge it. And we sometimes say, okay, the court of public opinion will judge some of us.
But then we are not doing that. You see, Honorable Obiamo started by saying that when the bill was brought to them, they asked, to what extent is this going to add to the hardship? Yes. And they were told that a minimal increase of 5%. He then says that subsequently, please allow me. Subsequently, it has become clear that the 5 or so percent has even escalated to sometimes 40%. Did he not say that? Yes. And I'm saying that, and I asked the question in a rhetorical form, that was Parliament deceived? Yes. And if Parliament was deceived, yes, they have a duty to be diligent and consensuous. And you can put a spin on it, yes, and make a conclusive deduction from it. Yes. That is your opinion, and it may be because of your prejudiced position. No, please. I'm saying that because you support the government. Because you support government.
But I have a mind of my own too. I can speak my mind.
Yes.
So do you agree to this?
So can I? No, let me be clear.
Why I have not fundamental problem of our country.
Can I be clear? I have not said categorically that government has deceived the people of Ghana through Parliament. I asked the question, especially from what Obi said, and I have heard a number of parliamentarians said this in the open, on air, in public, that at all material time when they were passing this bill into an act, they knew or they had the understanding that the hardship it will impose on us will be 5%. Now the official percentage is 27%, and I can tell you, if you use your own money you have toiled for to buy fuel, and if you are also using a vehicle like the V8, unfortunately, those who are supporting this bill, a lot of them don't even buy this fuel, even though they use the biggest of it we have bought for them. No, I have been there. I've already been there.
All right, let's move on. I don't think you want to react to it.
No, it's painful buying this fuel,
right. It's important that we don't play politics with these things.
Taxes.
No.
Why do you allow this?
Listen.
What I mean?
No.
Politics.
You see, are we suggesting that we should allow these utility companies to collapse?
Who would say that?
Don't they have a genuine consent that indeed we should support them to be able to stand on their own?
They always make laws.
That's the government.
No, but so the critical point now is that we should be insisting that they should give us what is expected of us if we pay more. We should be doing that.
But the government owns the government.
Don't worry, I will stand by it.
The government owes ECG $512 million.
ECG also owns government, so we have asked that we sit down and do a reconciliation. We should sit down and do a reconciliation, so that there should be some kind of meeting point.
Now, you heard the Attorney General yesterday. The news is that the fire at the Central Medical Stores, after investigations, is said to be arson. Now, one person already on the run, and the BNI is on his heels. Now, 11 other staff of the Ministry of Health, the Central Medical Stores, are also to be investigated. The AG is getting the documents ready to go ahead and prosecute these persons. A year ago, we were told they were lost over 200 million cedis to that fire. Let's see what our panelists will deal with, particularly the fact that we have come to a conclusion. At least one investigation has resulted in these revelations and some success. Let me start with the member of the government communication team. So the AG has done good work. We have been able to find out who were involved in this, and of course the investigations will continue. But the theft of government property is not new at all.
Well, the fact that it's not new does not mean that we should allow it to continue. and there is this impression in the minds of people. Properties belonging to the to government is actually is not supposed to be protected, and people just handle it or use it anyhow they want. Sometimes they even take it as their personal properties, misuse it, and sometimes, shocking enough, that kind of attitude sometimes goes down to even affect this individual himself, because when you are working in an institution and you don't help in building and protecting the properties belonging to that institution, and the institutions actually collapse, you will certainly lose your job. Yes. Now, losing your job means that you come back home and you are unemployed. And when they are talking about job losses and talking about unemployed, that same person would also be talking that I am unemployed. Yeah. Meanwhile, you contributed to the collapse of that company. For me, it wasn't a surprise with this investigation, because it was obvious. There was a supply of drugs, an alleged supply of drugs, which the head of that institution, the Central Medical Stores, decided to trace to check whether indeed those drugs were supplied truly as per the records. She did her own checks, because before such incident happens, certainly an individual cannot do that alone. He should have some collaborators from the other ends there. So they forged documents in order to make it look as if there is a receipt of some of the drugs supplied. Now, the head of the institution decided, no, I'm going to personally cross-check with the other end. She did that and realized that no, some of the institutions captured on the document as received those drugs did not actually receive the drugs. So those involved sense danger. And only for us to wake up one morning, the place was actually on fire. It only stands to reason that something is wrong somewhere. If you know you are innocent of wrongdoing, you need to protect the area and ensure that investigation will actually vindicate your position. So for me, this investigation goes to confirm that there are individuals who are citizens of our country, but they are anti-development of our country. Because if indeed you are patriotic, I do not see the need or the reason why you would even go to that extent. Why don't we even wait for the investigation? Let the investigation unravel the mystery behind it. If it is actually something you have done, if it is unraveled, let the laws of this country actually face you. Go to court, defend your position. If you have to go and serve your jail term, you do so. But to go to the extent of burning the entire property of state and drugs that are supposed to actually be supplied to health centers, is to say the least the most wicked thing to do.
Some have argued that we don't seem to be protecting certain vital installations good enough.
I agree with those people. There are certain critical areas that I think that there is a need for us to strengthen the security around those areas.
And that's one of the recommendations of the investigations.
Certainly government will take it up, and government will work towards ensuring that we protect those areas. With this investigation done by the state and the recommendations, government will look at it and work on it. But I think that there is those who did the investigation deserve to be commended. They have done diligent work, and indeed the Attorney General deserved commendation. And I think that ever since she was appointed, she has proven to be very patriotic and focused in defending the interests of our state. The president actually mentioned some of her work and her effort to even prevent some of the dubious payment of money. Well, some can also be. Some can be. So I think that she deserves to be commended, and we should continue to encourage her to continue to protect the interests of our state.
Okay, Mr. Dantua, let me pick your submission and then we'll move on, because I want us to deal with the bus branding.
For me, there are two separate issues we're dealing with. We're dealing with the corruption side of it, and we're dealing with the fire side of it. At the beginning of the Attorney General's statement, it said a committee set up to investigate the Central Medical Stores fire says the fire was deliberately set to destroy evidence of theft, massive fraud, and widespread irregularities. In the statement also, it goes to say that the fire was initially believed to have started in a nearby bush, but spread to the medical stores. If somebody had intent to cause fire to this place, why would you say it spread? It's as if somebody started a fire somewhere and accidentally it spread to it. So I have a question with that. My second thing is that we know the medical stores is a vital and important institution or building that houses the drugs that serve our people. Why wasn't it insured? So I asked myself the question, how many establishments like this aren't insured? And you would have thought that once this happened, government would give us a list of institutions that are insured and that aren't insured. I asked the ministries, all the ministry buildings that we have today, are they insured? When the fire happened in the Ministry of, was it Foreign Affairs?
Foreign Affairs, yeah.
Was it insured? And if it wasn't, why wasn't it? Because we've lost a lot of money. A lot of money. Now, I was saddened when the Attorney General started enumerating the kind of malfeasance that was going on there. I asked myself, Ghanaians, what is it? What are you using that money for? That you have to sell expired drugs? You take expired drugs from somewhere and bring it in and take the better drugs and go and sell it? What is our mindset? Do we live in corruption? Is it that the salaries that we are earning is not enough? Is it peer pressure? What is it that makes the Ghanaian feel that we can indulge in this type of behavior? I think it is wrong, and I feel that government should look through all establishments like this, get the system that they used to be able to get evidence here, run through all the others, and let Ghanaians see. It's unfortunate that Ghanaians would say that in the current government, corruption has, swallowed us. It could happen that the government has nothing to do with it. Could happen, let's be honest. It could happen government has absolutely nothing to do with what is going on. But we will paint them with the same brush. And where their responsibility is to make sure that they are able to lock this thing down. Because if you don't lock it down, come elections, the campaigns are coming. People and parties are going to refer to these things as if they did it. And it could happen that they had absolutely nothing to do with it. And so, let's be very, very clear in terms of how we make sure that we punish these people. Because you find that the case comes up, we blow all sorts of noise, we say all sorts of things. In the end, the people walk free. Because it is you and I's taxes that buy these things. The other thing is that the international community who they send us these drugs, they'll feel these people, they are not serious. How can they allow such a thing to happen in an institution that we have given millions of drugs to? And I understand that the AIDS drugs and everything was in there. We've given it. Do you think they would want to do the same to us? Look at what the senators are saying in America about the Gitmo and Ghanaian prisons. Look at what they are saying. Look at what they are saying. And so they create a certain impression about us, which that impression could be wrong. But we have caused it to happen by certain individuals who feel that, yes, we are the ones sitting here, nobody can say anything, and so we can do what we like.
Obi?
Yes. The fire which lasted for almost 3 days, consuming about 200 million cedis worth of medical supplies on 13th January 2015 was a big blow to Ghana. Now, just 2 days after, The then Minister for the Interior, Honorable Mark Oyongo, said he suspected arsonists to have caused this fire, and indeed said that it is time for the nation to provide safety and security for some of these national assets. I think the report has taken too long to come out. 1 whole year.
1 year after.
Beyond even a year. That's number one. Number two, so within this period, how have we ensured the security and safety of some of these national assets? Is it that we said it a year ago and we are still waiting to enforce or to ensure that these things are done? That will not speak very well of us. If it took a calamity for us to realize that these things should be done, then I expect that whatever report was submitted by the AG, she could have outlined what has been done in the past year to forestall some of these things. It's not only a matter of referring them to Yoko or prosecuting the 12 indicted officials. Meanwhile, we are told that the suspected arsonist is still at large.
Is on the run.
Yes, still at large. So that is where my interest really is. What have we done to forestall some of these things? Including the fact that even the fire service was not equipped to handle this. Because they said there was no fire extinguisher and there were no fire service tenders. They had to mobilize private water supply tankers to provide about 70 tankers to address this situation. Fine, we never expected it. But beyond that, what have we done to forestall it? That is the most important thing that I think we should learn from this. As for those indicted, they will have their day in court. If the state is able to prove that indeed they were behind all this, the law will take its course and then they will face the music.
Right. Laura, just briefly, and then let's move to the
Yes,
the
thank
masses.
you. I associate myself with what my friends have said, but except that I want to say that I felt a bit uncomfortable reading the report that the details may not have been part of, or should not have been part of this report at this stage, because this is what the AG is going to consider to decide, first of all, whether or not some people should even be prosecuted. And when you start at this stage, first of all, it is too conclusive, especially from the AG. It is too conclusive that it was done to conceal maybe some wrongdoing and so on.
Theft, massive fraud.
Yes,
and
I think that this is a preliminary investigation, but actual investigation that will enable her make a final legal opinion on whether or not they should be prosecuted should be subsequent to this. And that is where I think that if at this stage we look at it in this conclusive manner, it may even lead to us not being able to give a very detailed legal opinion on what has really happened. In any case, even if that has been done, I think that detail should have been reserved by the AG, and then when you start actual prosecution processes, you bring them out. Because now these people will regroup, if indeed they have committed the offense. Those who are in the position will try, through their friends and cronies and allies, to conceal or even destroy evidence. The one we are told is on the run is over a year now, but in any case, I don't think we should have even mentioned his name and the names of these people at this stage. Because look, having been in an institution, and if in fact they committed the offense, I can bet you, and we all know that they will have cronies, they will have abettors, they will have their co-conspirators still in the institution. And they will quickly, now probably with this knowledge, do even better in concealment of the evidence. You understand? So that is just the only problem. But otherwise, I think that we should all commend the AG in particular and all those who contributed in finding this. Let us make it impossible for people to do things like this. There should be no incentive. And I will say that the first step is to commence a civil action, quickly get an order of the court to preserve their properties, what we call tracing. Preserve it first, all right, whilst you continue with, because in the civil court, you don't need so much proof beyond reasonable doubt. It's just on the preponderance. So first of all, go convince a court that this is an appropriate case where the court can make an order for the preservation of the properties of these people, so they are not disposed of or otherwise transferred into the names of other people. Get their bank accounts legally secured. Any bank who contravenes it, they know the consequences that they can face in court. And then we do it at the same time as we are also doing the criminal prosecution. It appears that the criminal prosecution alone hasn't been sufficient deterrent, because after all, they will be lucky, maybe one government will come and give them presidential pardon. They come back and serve even in areas where there is greater money to steal without accountability. Some of them will even become ambassadors and things like that.
You are drawing closer.
I want to draw close. I'm saying that let us remove the incentive
for people to do the wrong thing.
Those who will invest it, they will just go and invest it, go to jail for 4 years and come back and still spend our money.
Yes.
I've always for strengthening the civil proceedings aspect more than the criminal, even though I'm not discounting the effect of that one as well. So I think the AG knows better, and perhaps they may be taking steps. But let us secure these things first of all, and so that if we can even get 10,000 Ghana cedis to pay for even the expenses of the investigators, that is even enough.
Grateful. Now let's quickly move on to the bus branding saga. Let me start with Obiamo, because a minister has stepped down. We're told some monies would have to be retrieved, but some have still said that no, it shouldn't end there. But the concern is that perhaps nothing more will be said about this.
Well, if you look at what has gone on, some of us believe it's just a tip of the iceberg, and then that's more or less the cover was blown in Parliament, and then we got that kind of mileage, and then the presidency had to step in. Now we are being told that even there was no tendering. It was after the fact that they sought approval from the Public Procurement Authority, sole sourcing, for them to regularize what had gone on, which is very serious. Now they say it's a report of the AGs which has leaked. AGs should come and confirm or deny this. If indeed this is what went on, then it's even worse than we thought. Now, why I'm saying that it's just a tip of the iceberg is that this is the Public Procurement Annual Report 2014. 2014, I haven't finished going through, but just going through it. Sole sourcing alone, 452 for 2014.
Million cities?
No, 400 instances.
Okay, 400 instances.
Yes, of people applying to public procurement that we want to sole source. Some of them for very trivial things. And then you come to restricted tendering, another 426. So that between sole sourcing and restricted tendering for only 2014, you are hitting 878 instances. So if we think that we don't need a public procurement authority, why are we wasting our time and everything? Because the reality is that if this is how we are going to do procurement, then as for the corruption and the wastage and everything, it's going to continue and increase. I can give you examples. If you look at the list, this is just the last page. Check some of the ministries. Simple things they go and sole source. Simple things that they want people to supply. Instead of doing the right thing, they write to the public procurement that we want sole sourcing, we want approval for sole sourcing. And then they pick an individual to go and supply it. And if you're going to do it this way, why won't somebody go and pick this company, Smarties, and say that go and paint our buses, and then come for huge money? Sometimes I think we have even saved the NDC when we did the redomination. Redomination of we've saved them. Redenomination. We've saved them because everybody says, oh, 3.6 million. If you were to use the old figures, we are talking about billions just for painting a bus. Just for painting a bus.
Okay.
Just for painting a bus.
I'm running out of time, so you laugh when you get on because I'm just
3.6 billion to paint a bus. When you go to my district, basic things that they need: furniture, textbooks, chalk, these things. And can you imagine what 3.6 billion could have done? But as I said, when we talk about this, sometimes we end up focusing on only one aspect and we leave the rest. Go through the public procurement. I brought 4 years.
So the problem is sole sourcing.
The problem is procurement. Procurement. Are we following the rules in procuring what we need to procure? Down the base now, the fashion now is that get 3 quotations and then let yours be lowest. And once yours is lowest, they'll give you the contract. Is that how we're supposed to run this system? And millions of cities are being lost because of this procedure. And that's exactly what happened to this rebranding business. And it's worse if the person who had this contract is close to government. That is even the worst part of it. Who doesn't know that this lady is close to government? And then you...
I don't know.
You don't see her campaigning for this government all over the place.
A lot of people campaign for parties.
A lot of people. These are some prominent people.
Okay.
All right. They campaign
Let me go to Honorable Janto and then we'll move on.
I think he wants to.
But I don't want to react. Okay, you go ahead.
I think that if there's any issue to do with this particular matter, individuals within government condemn this and nobody supported it. The minister actually did the right thing by resigning, saying that she has the responsibility of
after being
ensuring that things are done right. Having failed to do that supervision, she has taken what is the ultimate responsibility. Government decided that Attorney General should investigate, should look at it and review. She presented the report. The company is asked to refund a certain amount. At least we must credit the government for taking those steps, because in the past it would have just been policies as usual. We allow it for people to talk about it and then it ends there. Government has shown, and indeed, as President of the Republic of Ghana, you cannot be able to see everything happening within the institutions that are operating under you. You have individuals who are supposed to work for and on behalf of you. So in doing so, when something untoward happens, you must just take the steps to ensure that you rectify it. We've done that. And I'm sure that if any political party should criticize us, I think that the NPP should at least be the last.
So the investigation should end there. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily. If there's any element of criminality, why not? Government will look at it and evaluate it. That's all.
Ms. Antwa, you're quiet. Are you?
Was it the money that they used? I wonder where they took that money from.
In
the four priority areas that the minister has in terms of using the oil revenue. Was it under capacity building? Was it under agriculture? What was it under? That aside. So it has happened. What do we do? How do we retrieve those amounts of money? I feel that what should be done now is, one, the money has been spent. We either cut the size of the pictures on the buses, because we can't do much about that, and then open the buses up for advertising. Get companies to now advertise on the bus so that we can retrieve some money back.
Right.
Because I see the buses, being driven around. I see the pictures of the past, and I ask myself, what is this for? How does that impact on my life? So I see Jerome. Please, there are so many things we can use. Look around the city of Accra. You have one statue here of Nkrumah. You have another statue here of Buzia. You have another statue of Samuel Akufo-Addo. You have another statue of Rawlings. So what is heritage on buses? Look, in the UK, to advertise on a bus for a month, you know how much it is? £25,000 to advertise on a bus. I'm not saying that we will charge £25,000, but that money we get from advertising on the buses, can we not put it back in for maintenance? Because definitely these buses would need periodic maintenance.
Right.
Where are we going to get the money to maintain it? Maybe we brought an assembly plant in here that would be able to do that. But at least that money that we give out, we give the space out for advertising, it can do something else. We could get more money to bring more buses in so that gradually the types of public transport we have would decline. But today I was coming and I looked at the trotros on the road. None of the ones I saw today were roadworthy. Just looking at it. And I just envisaged some of these trotro, now they say they call them Trotskys, some of them having an accident on the road. The way people would die. As compared to these buses which look very comfortable, which look, presentable. Why the pictures? I really don't understand it. Are we trying to convey a certain message to the people? Who doesn't know J.J. Rawlings? Who doesn't know President Kofi?
But some
doesn't know,
so when the issue
Atabills?
broke out, some argue that, well, it could be those pictures, and then at a point in time, it is taken off, and then, like you said,
and we've already used the money. What do you think if that money was used to procure more buses? Would that not have benefited Ghanaians more? Those pictures on the buses, how do they benefit Ghanaians? Tell me. Does it buy food for them?
No,
does it pay electricity? Does it pay water?
What does it do for them? The other heads of state.
What does it do for them?
To agree for the picture to be removed so that we will surcharge the president for using our bus for campaign.
Okay, all right. We're running out of that. Let me take Paul's comments.
Obviously, I have a lot to say on this. But first of all, let me say
Then be quick about it.
consistent with what I say. I sometimes even find it uncomfortable when government takes some of these criticisms upon themselves. There is a public procurement board, tender committee, tender review committee. Yeah. People of Ghana are paying them. When the person brings this bill for sole sourcing, you have the power to decline it. Yes. So why are we even just putting all the blame on government? Because as for the executive, they will always want to do what they want. Why have the people of Ghana found it necessary to establish other institutions we ought to be independent so that they will serve as a check on the unbridled what do you call it, intention and so on of government to always get what it wants? Why are they still being paid? And yet look at the evidence that Honorable referred to. That is one. Number two, the bus branding. It's surprising that we are not even blaming those who made the payment.
Of course.
The oil money, this is part of the annual budget fund amount.
Yes.
Who is in custody of that amount?
Ministry of Finance.
And the Bank of Ghana.
Yes.
The Accountant General. Nobody is talking about them. Yesterday I heard the lawyer for the company that as far as he's aware that the first tranche has been paid, even though they don't admit
the
any
refund.
Yes. And yet, I just want to ask for one favor. Can I see a copy of the check?
Who signed it?
In whose account was it debited? And in whose account was it credited? These are just innocuous questions, which I don't think will be difficult for anyone to furnish a citizen of Ghana with the answers, which they have. I just want that, as not that I doubt, but at least to make assurance doubly sure
that
the
payment
has been effected, and that this is where it should be. Because oftentimes you are told that monies have been refunded. You don't find it in the budget. You don't find it in the Auditor General's report. The 50 million that we were told has been paid, well, probably it will come in the 2015 Auditor General's report. But we need to know now, where is the evidence that has been paid? So we should even then enhance our commendation for those who ensure that it's been collected. But, so please, can anybody just give at least the evidence that in the case of the bad branding, a check of so much has been issued and paid to government and credited into so account. No, don't tell me about revealing private arrangement or banking information. This is a national interest matter. You won't suffer any injury. You won't suffer any injury if I was told.
The check for the review.
How can they answer this?
Right.
How can they answer this?
He's not
Right. We are a government that believes
open.
in accountability.
Yeah.
Great.
And if lawyer
We'll be
Opon
doing
want to know,
accountability.
it's a citizen
No,
of
no,
Ghana.
if I want.
If
I
you
really
want to
want
know,
to
he's
know.
a citizen of
Entitled
Ghana, and he knows where to go. Luckily, he's a lawyer. He understands the process.
he knows
So
where
let
to
him
go.
take the steps to
Okay.
ensure that
Speak
he
to
gets.
God, you speak to
Okay, gentlemen, I'm grateful you joined us. I guess we'll all wish Mr. Jantua
Yes,
a
yes,
very successful
Thank you.
Congress.
Surprised he doesn't have a
then-
vote.
But next time,
Thinking about the other
no,
party
next time
members.
he should contest. I think that he's capable.
Okay. All right.
I'll take your
Thanks
advice.
so much everyone, for joining me. Alhaji Harun Alidu is the aspirant member of parliament for Ablekuma Central. To my extreme left, Mr. Kwame Jantua of the CPP is on his way to the trade fair. Very soon he will have to leave. And then
be there.
he will be there. In fact, we're already there.
Okay.
I will join you. I have a
To my
feeling
right is
that-
Obi. I'm a member of parliament for Ekwapim Sad and a lawyer upon. Gentlemen, I'm so grateful for your time this morning. And so from next week, we are from 7 to 9.
Okay.
And I'm sure it will allow you time to rest before coming. Thanks so much once again for coming.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend and stay right on TV3 because we'll be following closely the CPP Congress and we'll tell you more from there.
has
My name
become
is
the chief-
Bright. And I'm so
Chief
much
Devil's Advocate.
for watching. And good morning.